Have you ever stopped to think that women might be showing interest in ways you've simply never noticed? Many older men believe they fade into the background as they age, but in reality, the opposite is often true. Women over 60 have their own subtle ways of expressing attraction, and most men miss these signals completely. Instead of making bold declarations, they often use simple, casual questions that carry a much deeper meaning underneath. Imagine this. When a woman asks what seems like harmless small talk, she may actually be testing whether you're confident, independent, and open to companionship. Older women usually don't waste time playing games. They know what they want, and over time, they've learned how to ask the right questions to find it. That's why so many men misunderstand these moments. A seemingly ordinary conversation at the grocery store, a park, or a senior center might actually be her way of evaluating your energy, mindset, and readiness for connection. In this video, we're going to uncover the 5 questions women ask when they're flirting. These questions are intentional, revealing, and surprisingly consistent. Number 5 will surprise you the most. It's not just curiosity, it's a mix of a compliment, a subtle test, and an invitation all at once. Remember, romance doesn't stop after 60. Once you learn to recognize these hidden signals, you'll see that you're far from invisible. You may be more attractive than you ever realized. Let's start with the first question. Are you enjoying retirement? At first, this might sound like nothing more than friendly chit-chat. But it's actually one of the clearest signs that a woman is showing interest. She isn't just asking how you spend your days. She's trying to understand your outlook on life, your level of independence, and your potential as a partner. At this stage in life, women are drawn to men who are still embracing life, not just letting the years pass by. This simple question carries several hidden layers. First, it hints at financial stability. If you're enjoying retirement, it suggests that you've planned well and created a secure lifestyle. Second, it reveals how you use your time. A man who spends his days engaged in hobbies, friendships, or learning new skills comes across as lively and attractive. On the other hand, a man who admits to being bored or restless sends the opposite signal. Third, your answer reflects your attitude toward aging. Do you see these years as a decline or as a new opportunity? That perspective tells her more than you might realize. For example, at a community center, a woman named Carol once asked a widower named Henry about retirement. He sighed and replied, "Oh, it's fine, I guess. Nothing much going on. Just lots of time on my hands." Carol smiled politely, but the spark vanished immediately. His answer showed a lack of excitement and purpose, qualities that are attractive at any age. Now, consider Robert. When asked the same question at a cafe, he smiled and said, "Honestly, I thought I'd be restless, but it's been wonderful. I started painting again, joined a hiking group, and I'm learning to play the piano. It keeps me on my toes in the best way." His joy and curiosity completely changed the interaction. Carol leaned in, asked more questions, and their conversation blossomed. Body language matters too. If she leans toward you, maintains eye contact, and asks the question with genuine interest, it's not just polite curiosity, it's a sign she's evaluating your energy and zest for life. When you hear this question, here are 3 powerful ways to respond. First, use the passion approach. Share something that genuinely excites you. Second, try the mystery approach. Hint at a project or activity you're involved in, sparking curiosity. Third, use the connection approach. Link your activities to shared experiences, creating common ground. The third way to respond is what I call the engagement approach. Give a brief, confident answer, then turn the conversation back to her by asking about her life. This creates a natural flow and invites her to open up more. The worst response, however, is one that sounds bitter, bored, or defeated. If your tone suggests that you've given up on this stage of life, you'll unintentionally shut down the very interest she's extending to you. Remember this simple truth. When a woman asks about retirement, what she's really saying is, "Show me that you still have a vibrant life, and maybe room for someone like me in it." Now, let's move on to question number 2. Do you cook for yourself? At first, this question might sound harmless, but beneath the surface, it carries several important layers. When a woman asks this, she isn't checking your recipe book. She's quietly assessing whether you're independent, capable, and someone who could share daily life in a meaningful and practical way. Psychologically, it's a smart question. Women who've spent decades managing households aren't looking for another person to take care of. They want to know if you can take care of yourself. Can you create a comfortable home? Are you able to share meals, kitchens, and daily rhythms without expecting to be waited on? Cooking, in this context, goes far beyond food. It's about intimacy, independence, and compatibility. Here's how it plays out in real life. At a bookstore cafe, a woman named Elaine asked Paul, a widower, if he cooked for himself. Paul shrugged and replied, "Not really. I mostly eat out or grab frozen dinners. My wife used to do all the cooking." Instantly, the conversation cooled. His answer reflected helplessness, a dependence on the past, and little interest in building a new shared life. Now compare that to Samuel. At a farmer's market, a woman named Patricia asked him the same question. Samuel chuckled and said, "I've been experimenting in the kitchen lately. Last week I tried seafood risotto. It took me 3 tries, but it turned out pretty good. I enjoy cooking, though the smoke alarm sometimes disagrees. How about you? Do you like trying new recipes?" Notice the difference. Samuel's response showed confidence, humor, and curiosity. He also shifted the focus back to her, which drew Patricia in. She leaned closer, smiling, and began sharing her favorite dish. That single exchange created a spark that went far beyond small talk. Body language is another important clue. If she asks with a warm smile, perhaps while you're near food or in a homey setting, and then mentions her own cooking habits, she isn't just passing the time. She's imagining what life with you might look like. When you answer, here are 3 effective strategies. The competent approach. Show that you can manage in the kitchen without sounding arrogant. The learning approach. Share that you're picking up new skills and enjoying the process. The sharing approach. Mention how you like cooking for others or would love to prepare meals together. The danger lies at both extremes, either admitting total helplessness or boasting excessively about being a master chef. What she really wants to know is whether you're balanced, capable yet humble, self-sufficient yet open to sharing. The truth is, when a woman asks if you cook for yourself, she's really asking, are you someone I could feel comfortable building a life with? She's picturing quiet mornings over coffee, laughing while preparing dinner together, and sharing the simple rhythms of daily life. If you listen closely, her question is less about recipes and more about romance. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss new videos. Your support helps us keep creating meaningful content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward to question number 3. Are you close to your family? When a woman asks this, it may sound like gentle curiosity, but in reality, it's one of the most revealing questions she can ask. She isn't simply interested in your children or grandchildren. She's quietly observing how you relate to the people closest to you, how you handle love and conflict, and whether you're emotionally open for a new relationship. The psychology behind this question runs deep. Women understand that family dynamics often reflect how a man will treat a partner. If you speak with warmth about your family, it shows kindness, patience, and the ability to nurture. If you respond with bitterness or detachment, it signals unresolved wounds or emotional distance. Consider 2 men's responses. At a community dance, a woman asked Raymond about his family. He sighed and replied, "My kids rarely call. My daughter's across the country, my sons too. They're busy and honestly, family just doesn't mean much these days." Instantly, her interest faded. His answer revealed resentment, loneliness, and a closed heart. Now compare that with Walter at a wine tasting. When asked the same question, he smiled and said, "I'm lucky with my kids and grandkids. We're close, but we give each other space. I love that they've built their own lives, and I'm grateful to be part of it when they invite me in. Family is important, but I've learned there's plenty of room in life for different kinds of love." His response radiated balance, love without neediness, independence without coldness. The woman leaned in, genuinely curious to hear more. Body language gives you additional clues. If she asks in a soft tone, maintains steady eye contact, and follows up with more questions about your family, she's not just making conversation. She's exploring your emotional world. She wants to know whether your heart has space for her. Here are 4 strong strategies to respond well. The balanced approach. Show that you value your family but aren't overly dependent on them. The growth approach. Share how family challenges have helped you grow wiser. The wisdom approach. Reflect on how family has shaped your understanding of love. The open approach. Express that you're willing to welcome new connections beyond family ties. What she doesn't want is a flood of family drama, bitterness about the past, or evidence that your family consumes every ounce of your time. She's listening for hope, maturity, and the possibility of becoming part of your world. At its heart, this question is her way of asking, do you know how to love in a healthy way? She's not looking for perfection, just signs that you can cherish relationships, handle conflicts with grace, and create space for a new bond. A warm, balanced answer reveals that you're a man who understands love in all its forms. Question number 4. What keeps you busy these days? When a woman asks this, it may sound like casual small talk, but it's actually one of the sharpest tools she uses to understand who you are right now. She isn't just curious about your hobbies or your daily schedule. She's quietly studying your passions, your energy level, your sense of purpose, and whether you're someone who can make life feel interesting and full. The psychology behind this question is simple but brilliant. At this stage of life, women know that shared interests and compatible lifestyles are key to lasting relationships. She doesn't expect you to love everything she loves, but she wants to see that you're still engaged with the world. In her mind, she's asking, are you just passing time, or are you truly living? Picture 2 different answers. At a community garden, Louise asked Dennis what keeps him busy. He shrugged and said, not much. Watch some television, run errands, maybe tinker in the garage. Pretty quiet life. Louise nodded politely, but her attention faded. In that moment, Dennis showed her a life without spark. Now think of Michael at a bookstore. When Carol asked Michael the same question, his eyes lit up. I'm having a wonderful time, he said. I've started learning Spanish, I volunteer twice a week at the literacy center, and I've been getting into bird photography. Last weekend, I hiked miles just to capture a rare bird. Oh, and I'm helping my neighbor restore a classic car. It's hard work, but I love it. Carol's face brightened because in that one answer, Michael revealed purpose, generosity, creativity, and vitality. Her body language gave it away. She leaned forward, eyes bright, asking follow-up questions. She wasn't just being polite. She was quietly testing to see if his life had space for her, and if his energy would inspire her rather than drain her. There are 5 kinds of answers that create real attraction in this moment. Learning activities show that you're still growing and curious. Service activities reflect kindness and generosity. Creative pursuits reveal imagination and joy. Physical activities demonstrate that you value your health and mobility. Social connections show that you have a sense of community, but aren't overwhelmed by it. Together, these signal a life lived with balance, busy but not too busy, independent yet open to partnership. On the other hand, there are some responses to avoid. Don't just list chores and errands. Don't complain about boredom. Don't make everything sound like a burden. And don't overwhelm her with endless, overly detailed hobby talk. Keep your answer vibrant, light, and open. The hidden meaning behind this question is, are you someone I could share a fulfilling life with? She's picturing whether she could join you in some of these activities, laugh beside you, and grow with you. When you answer with passion and balance, you don't just become a potential companion. You become someone who offers a richer, more joyful life together. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights helpful, type number 4 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Your support helps us continue to create thoughtful content to inform and inspire you. Question number 5. How do you stay so positive? This is perhaps the most sophisticated and revealing question a woman can ask. On the surface, it sounds like a casual compliment, but in truth, it's one of the strongest signals of romantic interest. She's not simply asking about your mood. She's interested in your spirit, your resilience, and your overall outlook on life. The psychology behind this question is layered and powerful. First, she's giving you genuine praise. She's noticed something about your energy that stands out, and she's drawn to it. Second, she's testing your emotional intelligence. At this stage of life, everyone has faced hardships, loss, illness, or disappointment. She wants to know how you've navigated those moments. And third, she's checking whether you can bring light, steadiness, and emotional strength into her life, not more bitterness or negativity. Consider two different responses. At a library book club, Sandra asked Alan this exact question. Alan sighed and said, "Oh, I'm not that positive. Life's been rough. My arthritis is worse, the news is depressing, and I just get through the days." Sandra's interest disappeared instantly. She wasn't expecting perfection, but his answer showed that he saw himself as defeated. Now contrast that with Eugene at an art gallery. When Marlene asked him the same question, Eugene smiled warmly and said, "I've learned that I can't always control what happens, but I can always control how I respond. Every challenge has taught me something, and every loss has reminded me to appreciate what remains." His answer radiated emotional strength, gratitude, and resilience. It wasn't about pretending everything is perfect. It was about showing that he has the inner stability to face life with grace. "Joy is something I choose every single day." When he gently asked Marlene, "Do you create your own happiness, or does it come naturally to you?" her response revealed something deeper: wisdom, gratitude, and emotional strength. These are powerful qualities that many women find deeply attractive. When a woman asks such a question, her body language often shifts. She may lean in a little closer, her voice may soften, and her eyes may focus more intently on you. Sometimes, she might lightly touch your arm or hold eye contact just a little longer than usual. These are clear signs that her interest isn't casual, it's meaningful and personal. There are a few thoughtful ways to respond. The wisdom approach is to share a life lesson that has shaped your outlook. The gratitude approach focuses on how appreciating what you have keeps you grounded. The growth approach shows how your struggles made you wiser rather than bitter. And the choice approach highlights that positivity is a conscious decision you make daily, not just a personality trait. What you should avoid is denying the compliment, pretending you've never had challenges, or turning the moment into a lecture. Women want honesty that feels real, not something rehearsed. They want to see your authenticity and your resilience. At its core, her question is really saying, "I see something special in you. Tell me where it comes from." This isn't small talk. It's a moment to reveal whether you can bring warmth, trust, and emotional stability into her life. Positivity in later years isn't naive, it's strength. It shows that life has refined you, not broken you. When you respond with sincerity and wisdom, you stop being just another man in her eyes. You become someone memorable, trustworthy, and inspiring. That is one of the most powerful forms of attraction at any age. Many older men don't realize how many romantic opportunities pass by simply because they miss these signals. The 5 key questions women often ask about retirement, cooking, family, daily life, and positivity are not random topics. They are quiet but meaningful ways of testing compatibility, emotional depth, and genuine interest. Each question opens a door, and how you respond determines whether that door stays open or slowly closes. The truth is, you are not invisible, and you are never too old for romance. You may just need to learn the language of interest that women over 60 often use. Once you recognize these subtle cues, opportunities for connection will appear everywhere. Romance later in life isn't about chasing youth. It's about finding a companionship that is richer, wiser, and more fulfilling, sharing laughter over meals, exploring new adventures together, and enjoying conversations that remind you how much life still has to offer. Women ask these questions not to pass time, but because they are genuinely open to love and want to see if you are too. So, the next time you're at a coffee shop, a community gathering, or simply talking to a neighbor, listen carefully. If a woman asks one of these meaningful questions, don't brush it off. Recognize it for what it truly is, a chance to show who you are and what makes you special. Confidence, kindness, and presence are more attractive now than ever before. Thank you for spending your time with us today. We'd love to hear from you. Share in the comments what stood out to you and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your thoughts motivate and inspire us to keep creating helpful content. If you enjoyed this message, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue to bring you meaningful stories and advice. See you in the next video.